Right now, outside the most guarded door in Britain, the air itself feels heavier, as if the country has stopped breathing. You can almost taste the tension, the cold, and the quiet fury of thousands. Not a protest, not a mob. Something older, deeper, a reckoning. Downing Street, the same cobblestones where generations of leaders once promised stability, is now echoing with the sound of voices too many to count. Ordinary voices, but when thousands whisper the same word, it's louder than any speech. That word is enough. No barricades, no torches. Just hands holding bills. Energy bills that tripled. Rent demands, mortgage statements, tax reminders. Real lives printed in ink, the kind of paper that burns faster than coal but keeps no one warm. From Whitehall to Parliament Square, police lines blur into the crowd. The chants have rhythm but no rage. They don't need it. This isn't chaos. It's organized despair. And tonight, that despair has a name. Starmer. 2 years ago, he was the promise. The calm after the storm, the lawyer who would bring reason back to politics. Courage, compassion, stability, his posters said. But posters don't keep you warm. Promises don't boil kettles. And slogans don't pay heating bills. What you're seeing outside number 10 is the collapse of the last illusion. That someone up there still understands what's happening down here. Because here's the truth the government won't say out loud, Britain is cold again. Not metaphorically, across the country, lights flicker earlier. Curtains stay drawn longer. Millions now ration heat the same way their grandparents rationed food during the war. Hospital wards are filling with patients suffering from cold-related illness. Supermarkets report sales of blankets and candles up by 300%. Pensioners gather in shopping centers just to feel warm air. And through it all, the government insists it's fine. Progress takes sacrifice, they say. But whose sacrifice? Because the ones asking for sacrifice are never the ones making it. Starmer's ministers arrive to Parliament in heated cars. Their homes glow while the rest of the country dims. They preach about net zero. But the only thing reaching zero is the bank accounts of the working class. Last month, the Prime Minister was asked about the cost of living crisis. His reply, some things are non-negotiable. 2 words that detonated a movement. Because when your house is cold and your leader calls it necessary, that's not governance. That's arrogance. The footage spread in minutes. Starmer's tone, calm, polished, detached, became the sound of indifference itself. Overnight, non-negotiable turned into a meme, a slogan, and now a chant echoing through London like a warning siren. Look closer at the faces in that crowd. The nurse still in scrubs holding a sign. I save lives but can't heat my home. The pensioner clutching his last electricity bill. The baker from Leeds who closed his shop after 30 years because energy costs quadrupled. They're not activists, they're survivors. And every story out there tonight is a verdict. The statistics are staggering. 14% of British households now in fuel poverty, double what it was 2 years ago. 1 in 4 pensioners rationing heat. 3 elderly citizens found dead in South London last winter. Heaters off, bills unpaid. Yet energy giants post record profits, £4.1 billion combined. Shell and BP pay an effective tax rate lower than most nurses. Because the windfall tax Starmer promised was written with enough loopholes to drive a limousine through. Meanwhile, government-funded green subsidies flow to foreign companies building wind farms overseas, while local factories close under the weight of carbon fees. You can't save the planet by freezing your people, but that's what's happening. And tonight, Britain has finally called it out. Inside number 10, advisors are spinning, calculating, whispering that this will blow over. That the British are polite. They'll grumble, then go home. But the crowd outside hasn't moved for hours. Their politeness has expired. Here's what makes this moment different. This protest has no organizers. No unions, no politicians, no party banners. It's spontaneous. It's raw. And that's what terrifies Westminster most, because you can't negotiate with something that doesn't belong to anyone. For decades, British politics thrived on control, on managing outrage, timing apologies, crafting slogans. But you can't manage hunger. You can't PR your way out of cold. The chants outside aren't radical, they're mathematical. When your income falls and your bills triple, rebellion isn't ideology, it's physics. Across the country, cities are lighting up with the same fury. Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle, ordinary streets filling with people carrying candles instead of banners. The glow looks almost holy from above, like a vigil. Except it isn't for a person. It's for trust. Trust died quietly over the last 2 winters. Tonight is its funeral. Even inside the Labour Party, cracks are forming. 3 MPs have called for an emergency review of energy policy. Code for panic. Senior aides are leaking messages describing the atmosphere in Downing Street as bunker mode. Starmer is snapping at staff, demanding loyalty. But loyalty doesn't survive when heating bills arrive. Opposition leaders smell blood. Nigel Farage is on air calling this the night Britain woke up. Elon Musk retweets a video of the crowd with the caption, "They've had enough." Within hours, it's trending worldwide. In pubs across the country, people who never cared about politics are watching on their phones, nodding in quiet agreement. Because this isn't left versus right anymore, it's up versus down. Those above, insulated, those below, exposed. And in between, a wall of silence. Inside number 10, the heat is on, literally. Reports say the thermostat is set at 24 degrees. Outside, it's 2. The symbolism writes itself. A government that lives warm while preaching sacrifice. A leader insulated by advisors while his people freeze. Starmer, the lawyer who built his image on control, now looks like a man losing it. Cameras caught him leaving Parliament earlier today, ignoring reporters' questions, jaw clenched, eyes unfocused. Even his own allies are whispering that he's unreachable, haunted by the idea that he might be remembered not as the man who steadied Britain, but as the one who watched it fracture in silence. Meanwhile, the chant outside grows louder, steadier, rhythmic. Come out! Come out! He won't. Not yet. But here's the thing about nights like this. They don't end when the crowd leaves. They echo, they spread, they turn into something bigger. Because once people realize their suffering isn't isolated, once they see their own fear reflected in thousands of others, something irreversible happens. The illusion of isolation breaks, and what replaces it is dangerous. Unity. Tomorrow morning, the newspapers will show sanitized images, polite headlines, tidy language. Cost of living protest continues. But history won't remember it that way. History will remember the sound. The low, relentless murmur of a nation rediscovering its voice. It will remember the night Britain stopped apologizing for being angry. And when historians write about it, they'll say this was the turning point. The night the cold became political. The night the polite country decided to stop waiting for permission. Keir Starmer still has one option left. To step outside without scripts or slogans and listen. But the longer he waits, the less it matters. Because leadership isn't about being right, it's about being there. And we're right now, Britain is out here in the cold, waiting. For a man who still believes he can lead a nation he no longer feels. The night is long. The air is sharp. And history, once again, is standing at the gates of number 10, knocking.